Next Generation Meteorologist Joe Shock here with the tropical update for August 6, 2022. We're going to be doing something a little different today. We're going to be taking a look at the tropical update for the next couple of weeks and also look at the European seasonals. So definitely a little bit of an interesting approach today. The European seasonals are quite interesting, and this is on autoplay, so I have to keep using my keyboard to pause it. Otherwise, it'll run through this whole presentation in about 5 minutes, so hopefully it doesn't go to the next slide. So anyway, let's start here with the Gfs Ensemble. We're going to take this at least to the next two and a half weeks here, and then again we'll take a look at the season. So here's the Gfs Ensemble MJO. You can see we're in the null phase, and over the next week to 2 weeks, we're going to be coming out into phases 8, 1, and 2 on the GFS. The European, a little bit longer in the null phase and more aimed into phase 1 and 2. I like the European better over the GFS. It's also less amplified when it does come out, since it's been struggling to come out. I think the European, for now, is the better of the two models. Now, phase 8 and 1, you can see kind of not so much of a signal, but certainly aiming more into phase 2, which is definitely what the Euros did. Even the GFS has a few members in it, but you can definitely see the Euros got more members coming to phase 2, and phase 2 development definitely enhances the MDR, especially, and then along the East Coast. So I think phase 2 will be the closest fit with what's going on also with the temperature pattern that's going to be evolving over the United States over the next week to 10 days. Is more of a phase 2 look, with the troughing setting up over the eastern part of the United States, more correlated with phase 2. So I think that would be a better plot there. Now, ocean temperatures are valid August 4th. You can see the anomalies from departure from normal. The MDR pretty much at or above normal, about 1 degree C. Some areas close to 2 C off Africa. We have this little bit of a cool patch here north of the MDR, which is 1 to 2 C below normal, which is good because it helps to focus the heat and energy in the MDR. However, though, it can increase the wind shear in the MDR, as there could be sometimes higher pressure here, and also could help bring off more dust from the Saharan. So that certainly can be a positive and a negative. However, though, as waves get further west, they get further removed from this cooler than normal water, and this will change over the coming weeks, and they could certainly develop once they get to about 50 west and then further west from there. And of course, the Caribbean, very warm, and of course along the East Coast and the Gulf of Mexico, several degrees Celsius above normal, and even here off in New England, some of our higher resolution 2-3 kilometer products have ocean temperature anomalies over 10 C. So certainly very, very warm, and actual ocean temperatures you'll see here in just a minute are 80 degrees in New England. Now, the ocean heat content, of course, very, very high along the East Coast and all the mainlands, really, in the tropical Atlantic. So that is very concerning for when these things do become more of an issue. And here are the ocean sea surface temperatures, and this is some of this orange here. You can see 26 C, which is 80 Fahrenheit, up to Long Island, just south of Nantucket. Actually, some of the buoys in Nantucket Sound are 80, 81 degrees as of today, but certainly very, very warm. And then upper 70s, probably 78, 79, just south of there. So either way, we're 25 and a half, 26 Celsius to the New England coast, which is incredible if we were to actually have a hurricane come along and the atmosphere was favorable for something to maintain itself all the way this far north. And there you can see the 80 degree line pretty much riding 40 degrees north, 40.5 north, all the way out here to the Azores, and then looping back around, and then kind of like this shape here like I have with my mouse, but a huge area of 80 to 85 degree water from New England to the Azores, southwestward, all the way to Cape Verde, and of course the MDR as well. So massive area, over 80 degrees. And of course, you can see some of these darker reds in here around Florida and the Gulf of Mexico, and even here in the Gulf Stream, 30, 31 C water. So we're talking mid and upper 80s here. So certainly plenty of energy, as you saw here in the ocean heat content map, for tropical cyclones and even strong tropical cyclones at that. So this is very, very concerning as we go into the peak of the hurricane season, seeing ocean temperatures like this. Certainly an incredible situation, especially mid-Atlantic up to the northeast, seeing 80 to 83 degree water in this part of the basin, pretty much unheard of. Now, here is how deep that 80 degree water goes down into the ocean. Now these are meters, so you can see here just south of New England. I mean, this is incredible. Even though it's that, you know, about 0 to 1 meter, I mean, still you're going down 2, 3, maybe even 4 feet, and you can find 80-degree water. That is incredible. And of course, here in the Gulf Stream, you know, we're talking looks like probably 70 to 85 meters down, several hundred feet down. You know, we could find, you know, 80-degree water. So very, very impressive that we could go 75 meters down, several hundred feet down, 100 meters. Let me think. 100 meters is 300 feet. So just under, yeah, probably about 200 feet. But you get the idea. 75 meters, 100 meters would be 300 feet. So definitely 100, 200 feet down, we could still find 80-degree water. But certainly that is very, very impressive. And of course, you can see here the Gulf of Mexico with its high values as well. So this is very concerning because this doesn't also support one storm, but you can have several storms come through and you could still have plenty of ocean heat energy to supply multiple strong hurricanes. If they come through, they cool the water from 86 to 84, but still below, you still have plenty of warm water that can be upwelled to the surface. So that is very, very concerning to see a map like this as we enter the peak of the hurricane season. And definitely part of the reason why it's like this, I do believe highly suspicious of, is because it's been so quiet in the basin up and through this point. The next week, things are going to get going. But definitely the quietness has helped, especially the western part of the basin, really load up for what's to come. Here's the JMA. Week 1 starting today, the upward motion pattern. You can see the general upward motion over the Atlantic Basin. You can see the enhancement here with the African wave that's coming off. You can see the 500 millibar pattern, the ridging over troubled water. Week 2, you can see more vigorous upward motion. There's probably subsequent waves coming off. You can see the enhancement along the East Coast. There's a trough over the eastern part of the United States, and you'll see why this pattern that's being shown here, week 2 in the JMA, is quite concerned because they're very well maybe a tropical cyclone along the East Coast at this time, and where there's a trough digging in, ridging over the top, it is more difficult to steer these things away from the East Coast. So that's a little hint. Once we get past August 15th or so, August 20th, there could be some fun and games along the East Coast, particularly the Carolinas to New England. I'm quite concerned about this pattern if this begins to unfold like this. And then you can see week 3 and week 4, more of the same with the enhancement of tropical activity in the basin. There's the ridging over New England, which would certainly allow these systems to get pretty far west and be potentially impactful to the mainlands here in the western part of the basin. Now, here's the European ensemble. You can see the wave that's coming off now. NHE's got this at 20%. This is by day 10. You can see there very well could be a system here somewhere in the southwest Atlantic. Here's what the Gfs looks like, same kind of thing. A system generally in the southwest Atlantic in about 10 days or so. So that's something very concerning that we'll have to watch for, especially with that pattern that you saw with the troughing over the eastern part of the United States, ridging over the North Atlantic, southern Canada, making it more difficult for these things to escape. So we'll see how that works out. The Extreme Forecast Index from the European, from its weeklies from Thursday, you can see this is through the 15th. You can see the enhancement of rainfall here, the signal of a wave coming across. So the negative EFI showing the threat of a significant rainfall event. And then, of course, the yellows are the dry, where it's drier than normal. So you can see here that this wave will be pretty far north relative to its climate here in the precipitation app. So that's through the 15th. And then through the 22nd, you can see there's some signal there along the East Coast, again, with some enhancement here in the southwest Atlantic, and again here north of Bermuda. But there's something going on here along the East Coast, which is suspicious to me. So see how that works out. And now we're going to take a look here at the European seasonals as we go through the remainder of the season. This goes August right through November, and this is very interesting. You can see here how the model is picking up on these features in the MDR, and then the greatest enhancement here in the southwest Atlantic. Again, the mid-Atlantic up there northeast, a little bit of a enhancement there in the western Gulf of Mexico, which has been there in the last several model runs. And of course, the enhancement here from Bermuda up to Atlantic Canada. So very, very interesting and very, very concerning look here in the August update with the, again, the red there, the enhanced expected values, and the tan is the usual climate, and then you can see the blue reduced expected value. And it's interesting, you know, the eastern Gulf of Mexico doesn't really have any reduced expected value but it's lower than the usual expected value. So that's kind of an interesting situation to look at there. So maybe there'll be less activity in the Gulf of Mexico than usual. But overall, East Coast, this could be the East Coast time to shine. So we'll see what happens here in the longer term. The precipitation anomalies, you can see the nice enhancement here along the East Coast. There's a little area there in the western Gulf of Mexico, so that is a good correlation that I like to see there. Ocean temperature anomalies. There's the marine heat wave continuing along New England, and this is just going to be a problem at some point. I mean, this kind of situation enhances blocking, does not allow storms to weaken as they approach New England, at least based on the ocean energy. Yes, there could be wind shear, there could be dry air, but certainly we can't rely on the ocean temperatures to weaken a storm approaching New England from the southerly direction. So that's very concerning. And also going into winter, which we'll be covering in another video. This could help with blocking and get a fast start to winter, and also supply, powerful nor'easters into the fall as well. So even if we don't get impacted directly by a tropical cyclone, this could certainly help down the road with heavy rain, which will be great for the drought that New England is currently in. And again, possibly powerful nor'easters as we head into the cold season here in the Northern Hemisphere. So certainly this has implications down the road besides purely tropical cyclones. So that is concluding the end of today's video, and that's all we have for now, and thank you for watching.